Yeah, admit it, you forgot they remade A Nightmare on Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the most iconic horror franchises of all time. Freddy Krueger is an instantly recognizable villain, and it's got one of the best and scariest premises for a movie of this kind ever. It's really easy to forget because these movies are so well cemented in pop culture, but the idea of a crazed killer stalking your dreams is absolutely genius. The one place you can't escape. The one thing you can't avoid doing no matter how hard you try. The longer you avoid it, the more you need it. Eventually, if you don't sleep, your body will put you to sleep. And then... Scared of Friday the 13th? Well, don't go to summer camp, I guess. Scared of vampires? Eat your garlic and wear your cross necklace and you'll be fine. Scared of Freddy Krueger? Oops! Bad luck! Sleep well! This 2010 remake starring Jackie Earle Haley in the leading role is not without its critics. Indeed, by most accounts, it's actually quite bad. I'm not here to tell you whether or not it's bad, but what I am here to do is talk about this movie's best scene. What can I say? You look at this movie online and you see loads of reasons why you shouldn't check it out. Everybody judges the worst of it. So why not let me give you a chance to judge the best of it? At least then you'll have a better frame of reference for if the movie's worth your time. Plus, I abandoned my original plan for a Halloween video, so I guess this'll do. I don't even have the Halloween intro anymore, but I promise it's... Ooh. There's actually a few really neat things about this film. Haley's performance is excellent. He has a hugely compelling screen presence, and he's a decent fit for the character. The many sequels to the original Nightmare on Elm Street have, in a way, distracted everybody from the fact that the original movie isn't actually all that funny. The first time I remember Krueger making jokes with his murders is when he goes, "What's the prime time, bitch?" And that wasn't until the third film. So, as an out-and-out horror figure, I think Haley does a pretty good job here. And I have no doubt that if they'd continued this reboot series, they might have let Haley do more with this character, including maybe leaning into the comedy side of things a little bit more. Little Nancy. Yeah, the deaths are a little uncreative compared to the originals, but the scenes like the prison dream are genuinely quite chilling. Another smart addition is the micronaps. Basically an excuse to have the characters experience bite-sized, lucid dreams.
But then it says at the 70-hour mark, the insomniac will begin to experience micronaps. His brain will begin to shut down its functions for several seconds and attempt to recharge itself. This basically means that you're dreaming, but you don't know it.
It's a smart idea used to blur our perception of the character's reality, and it makes you wonder why they waited until 2010 for one of these movies to have a plot point like this.
I'm starting to dream with my eyes open. I can't tell what's real anymore.
But the scene I want to give special acknowledgement to is the scene that makes a great change to the established story. You see, in the original movie, Freddy Krueger was a convicted child murderer who escaped prison on a technicality.
You want to know who Fred Krueger was? He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood. We found him in an old abandoned boiler room where he used to take his kids.
The burn scars come from the parents of his victims burning him alive as a sort of street justice punishment.
Took gasoline. I poured it all around the place and made a trail of it out the door. Then lit the whole thing up and watched it burn.
He mostly just haunts people now because he's still a killer, I guess. At least that's the impression you get from the first movie, which, in case you've forgotten, this one's a remake of. And in this remake, our surviving characters find out that they all went to the same preschool together, and that the gardener there was Mr. Krueger himself. Something about these flashback scenes are kind of creepy. Just to see Freddy pre-burns as this horrific monster hiding in plain sight, again performed excellently by Haley, is really unnerving.
I got some other drawings, and they're like really bad drawings. Maybe you can help me fix them?
It's also nice that they wrote in a direct link between those being haunted by Freddy and Freddy himself.
She takes us to the secret cave.
I give you this context for that one scene in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Ah, you see what I did there? Quentin, yeah, this guy is called Quentin, witnesses the truth behind the bullshit story. Nancy, oh, her name is Nancy. This video sucks. And he were told by Nancy's mother. Instead of running out of town, it turns out Freddy was run out of town by the parents. They didn't even bother calling the police like in the first movie. Clancy Brown and his gang, yeah, Clancy Brown is in this movie, chase him into an abandoned factory after hearing what the kids say he did.
Open the fucking door! What are you doing? Norm, make sure you can't get out the back!
What are you doing? No. This isn't the right way. We've got to...
And what is the right way? Our kids get on a stand and have to tell a room full of people what happened to them?
Right, Gwen. He's right. This is not the way
to do it. Tonight.
Freddy pleads for his life and desperately tries to convince them of his innocence, but... well, we know what happens. What brilliant additions to the story. Seriously, think about it. In one fell swoop, this remake makes it clear why Freddy is killing these specific people and actually makes you question whether or not Freddy was innocent.
We were protecting. From what? From him. From what he did to you. From what you kids told us he
We
did.
were 5! We would have said anything! Why didn't you go to the police?
You were so young.
No, God, and the things we said he did. The cave? Did you ever find it?
No.
How do you know he was guilty?
In a sense, it almost makes Freddy sympathetic, if an innocent man was burned alive like this. It's exactly what a remake should do, in my opinion. If you're gonna change stuff that makes us question our expectations and preconceptions of the material. Otherwise, we can just watch the original. I'm honestly kind of surprised to see this movie had such a negative response. Yeah, Rooney Mara looks really bored throughout most of the film. Ironically, she kind of acts like she needs a bit of a nap.
A little Nancy.
But the rest of the cast give a pretty good go of it. Fun addendum that I found out while I was editing this video. It turns out that apparently Rooney Mara had a terrible experience filming this movie. I don't know if it's necessarily better that it's a shit performance on purpose, but I feel like that needed to be said. Yeah, there's nothing extravagant with the kills like in the classic movies, and more to the point, its sequels. But it's clearly going for its own thing with this version of Freddy.
Why are you screaming? I haven't even caught you yet.
I wouldn't go so far as to say the movie's brilliant, or even great, but I'm really surprised at just how negative the response is to this movie. Comparing it directly to the first Elm Street movie on Rotten Tomatoes, it's hard to say that it's 80% worse than the original. Like, it's not that bad. If you're looking for something to check out this Halloween, it's worth at least checking out. Especially if you have, like most people, completely forgotten that they remade Nightmare on Elm Street in the first place.